first land to be colonized in the Americas was Haiti. Europeans first enslaved Native Americans and captive Africans there too, but the first permanent abolition of slavery also happened on Haiti in 1804, which was 220 years ago this year. Such abolition only occurred in the rest of the Americas later, much, much later. White people were not the first to abolish slavery. Black people, Black Haitians were. Again, the purpose of Candace's video that she put out, white Europeans and white Americans, for the evil legacy of slavery in this country. That's the entire purpose of the video, and not to be accurate with the facts. Let's continue. Dr. Dodd goes on to say, quote, Haiti's radical defeat of French colonizers and enslavers, which opened the door for slavery to be outlawed everywhere in the Atlantic world, is not how abolition is remembered today. Let me read that again. Quote, Haiti's radical defeat of French colonizers and enslavers, which opened the door for slavery to be outlawed everywhere in the Atlantic world, is not how abolition is remembered today. Instead, conventional accounts of the end of slavery in the Americas typically center ideas about human rights from the United States, Great Britain, and France. That is the narrative that Candace is trying to push in her video, that white people in the United States and Great Britain and France were the first to abolish slavery. It's not true. She goes on to say the popular narrative of slavery and abolition usually begins with white Europeans from Spain and Portugal colonizing the Caribbean and the Americans, replacing native populations with captive Africans whom they forced into harsh labor as slaves. It continues with the rise of the plantations supported by the English, French, and Dutch and their advent of scientific racism. In these accounts, it was only after abolitionist pamphlets and lectures culminated in bans on the international slave trade in Great Britain and the United States that the age of abolition opened, eventually leading to the US war, which ultimately ended slavery. So she's going through the false narrative of slavery and abolition. She just detailed that this narrative begins, as we know, with Spanish and Portugal colonizers taking over the Caribbean and the Americans, which led up to slavery in the United States and the Civil War.